From the Intelfluence headquarters in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, this is the Intelfluence Influencer Spotlight. In each episode, we sit down with an influencer from our network and we discuss their background as well as their unique approach to influencer marketing. Lisa Niver is a passionate writer, educator, social media ninja, speaker, and global citizen who has traveled to over 100 countries and 6 continents. You might find her underwater, talking travel on KTLA TV, exploring an exotic location, at her art studio, or writing about issues for Miss Magazine, Smithsonian, AARP, Saturday Evening Post, or one of the airline magazines including American Airlines, United Airlines, and Delta Sky. Her latest project is a book called Brave Rebel, 50 New Adventures Before 50, about her 50 challenges before she turned 50. Lisa sailed on the high seas for 7 years and founded We Said Go Travel, which is read in more than 200 countries. Lisa has been nominated for 5 Southern California Journalism Awards in the past 2 years and has received second place for her Jewish Journal article. Learn more about Lisa at We Said Go Travel. All right, well, let's get started. So can you tell us a little bit about what led you to create We Said Go Travel and what were some of the first steps that you took to establish the site?
Absolutely. So I first started We Said Go Travel in 2010, which sometimes still shocks me. It's been 9 years. And what happened was I've always been a traveler. I worked on cruise ships. I worked in Club Med. I lived abroad for school. And I was always teaching in between. I was teaching and I was traveling. And once when I left teaching, my students were very sad because I was going to be gone for 11 months. And I promised that I would write a newsletter. So during the time that I was away writing my newsletter, blogging kind of magically appeared. And so when I came back, we wrote a book about our trip. And when I came back, we were trying to figure out, like, what do we do with this book that no one seems really that interested in? And I learned about this thing that now seems so funny, but at the time it was a very big deal to find your platform. It's hard to imagine there was a time people didn't know what that was. Anyway, so I built We Said Go Travel, and I built it on BlogSpot because I had 2 requirements. I wanted it to be free, and it's another thing you can't even imagine would matter. I didn't want another password. So this was very important to me at the time, and I already had Gmail. So that's how I got started.
You know, I had a blogspot back in the day too, called sendmefreewine.blogspot.com. It didn't work out too well, but it was fun years and years back.
Listen, I have a good contact for you if you want some free wine.
I'm going to be speaking at a wine. We do conference stuff. We're going to be in Napa in a couple weeks. We're going to have a good time.
Oh, okay, good. I still have someone to introduce you to. She's so awesome.
Absolutely. I'll take all introductions. At what point in that journey? So you're creating the blog spot. You're creating this community. When did it sort of branch into the influencer world? At what point you're like, hey, I'm doing influencer marketing now?
Oh, it actually, well, it's funny because in 2009, obviously no one was talking about influencer marketing. I actually remember when I joined Twitter. I had the website, of course I had Facebook, and then I was out to dinner with a friend who's Green Power Girl, and she says to me, you should be on Twitter. I was like, oh, I don't know what that is. And she was explaining it to me, and I said, well, it just kind of sounds like people are shouting into the random universe. And she said, well, why don't you test it out? So I got Twitter, and then on a different trip, someone said to me, you should really try this thing. It's called Instagram. And so I just kept adding and adding. And at one point, somebody said to me, actually, what you should be doing is video. And I was teaching full time, and I was writing once a week on the website. And I said to her, I'd love to do video. I have a free slot in my day from 2 to 3 in the morning when I'm sleeping. I'll just add that in. So it's been very slow and organic, and I've taken advice. Anytime someone said to me, you should be on this. Like the other day I joined something called TikTok. I think I'm too old for TikTok, but I joined.
Very cool. Now, as a travel blogger and influencer, you've undoubtedly tried a lot of different products, services, and experiences. So do you have a couple favorites that jump out?
Okay, so I'll tell you, I ended up actually at 50 experiences. I did a project that came about when I was 49, and I didn't want to admit it. I met this woman that was 39, and she did a project 40 things before she's 40. And so I was at a destination conference and I started pitching PR people. I'm like, well, what do you think if I was doing this project, 50 Things Before I'm 50? And I still wasn't sure I wanted to admit it. But anyway, people were super into it because one of the pieces of it was that I was going to do stuff I had never done or that I was scared of. And it turns out I was pretty much scared of everything. So it wasn't too hard to give me an experience. So that was the most amazing thing, except that people started using it against me. I'd be like, well, I'm not really sure I want to go dude ranch. I'm afraid of horses. And the PR person would say, but that's your project. You're supposed to do stuff you're afraid of. I was like, wait, I'm not sure this is working out so well for me. So that's how I ended up doing a lot of things that most people might not find terrifying, but I had an eye issue growing up. I had a lot of accidents, and it turns out I was scared of everything. But I've tried, I did mountain biking at North Star in Lake Tahoe. I did cry, but I was still good.
Now, I'm glad you touched about it because I was going to ask about your book later on. So how do you find time to write on top of running your site and, well, traveling all over the world?
Yes. Keeping up with any part of it, because I feel like in some ways I'll often be on a trip with other content creators and they'll be like, oh, I'm an Instagrammer. And honestly, I'm so jealous because they're like, that's what I do. I do Instagram. And I'm like, whoa, how did I mess this up? I do Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I make a video. I write an article. I pitch my editors. I'm doing something so wrong. But how do I find time as I try to be really organized? My friends make fun of me that my lists have lists. Mm-hmm. I write everything down, and then at night I'll be like, oh, which of these 153 things should go first? And I try really hard. I don't know if you remember the book, The 4-Hour Workweek.
Yeah.
So one of his things was, I think it was from him, pick 2 things and get them done before 11 o'clock. And so that's one of my goals. I still have to do my eye exercises. So in the morning I do my eye exercises and I try to do something really important. And often it's the writing. So like if I'm writing an article I have a new article that went live today for Ms. So if I'm working on an article for an editor, I try to do that in the morning. Because as the day goes on, my interest level in most things gets lower.
So you do a lot of teaching, and you can kind of see how your profession kind of pulls into your site. You have what is called growing your travel blog. Can you tell us about the educational tips that you try to provide aspiring travel bloggers on their career?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I've done on We Said Go Travel is I've had 13 writing contests, travel writing contests. I've published about 2,300 people through that, and we just finished the second Travel Photo Award. So the thing that I always tell people is what worked for me is do not spend any money in the beginning. I meet a lot of people and they're like, oh, I'm going to hire someone to make my logo, and I'm going to buy hosting and all these things. And I'm always like, what? It could really start to add up, and maybe you don't even like it. And so what I try to do is share my experiences, because I feel like I fell in a lot of potholes along the way. I always recommend people start slow, write once a month, write once a week, because people are like, I'm going to write every single day. I'm like, nope, you're not. Mm-mm. I said, Lord, none of us are really that interesting.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, totally. And then in your YouTube intro video, you mentioned that you want to explore universal connections that bind us. So throughout your travels, what are some of the notable universal connections that you've discovered?
Oh, that's such a good question. So as a teacher, one of the things I'm always looking at when I was traveling and teaching at the same time, I used to bring stuff back to my students. And one of the things I noticed with the kids is what they would love to see is what other kids are doing. And I'm a little bit like the Pied Piper, that when I travel, like, kids love me. And actually went on my first safari last year, and I was with this really great photographer. And we're walking around this Maasai village, and literally, I'm not joking you, all the kids are following me around the village. And then we took a picture, and it's me and all the kids. And then my friend Matt's like, yeah, the picture. I just want the kids. No problem. I'll get out of your picture. He told me later, he said, can you come with me on every trip? He goes, kids will not talk to me. He goes, but all of those kids want to be with you. And we'd also gone on that trip to a school. and I was showing the kids my pictures. I'm like, we saw elephants and we saw this, and then I took pictures of them. And so he took a picture of me. I can send it to you. It's a huge sea of kids' faces with me in the middle. So, but I think the universal connection is that everywhere in the world, parents want what's best for their children, and families want to be together, and families want to support each other. And I've seen that everywhere I've been, from Indonesia to Myanmar to anywhere in South America. People want more for their kids than they had for themselves, and they want clean water and good schools, and they want to be happy, and they want to be together. And I think that's really important, because I feel like a lot of times in the media and the news is about those people or that problem that those people started. And you're like, what those people want? Those people want their kids to grow up and be healthy. So I think that's, I really, in my classroom, had never let people talk about first world and third world. I think that's very pejorative. Everybody lives somewhere and everybody wants the best for their family. I think that's very common. And you, when you go places and you see, like, what does it mean to have no resources, or what does it mean that you feel like they're stealing your resources? You would fight too. Like, sometimes we miss some of the basic pieces.
It's very insightful.
So I want you to take out like a future machine here. I want you to peer into the future.
Okay.
What is influencer marketing going to look like to you in your world like 5 years from now? How do you think you're going to be interacting? Are you just going to be on TikTok version 5.0, or is it going to be something different?
I hope I'm going to figure out Snapchat and TikTok and Lasso, but I'm not too sure. Or the step grandchildren of those. What's it going to look like in 5 years? I think for me, what it's going to look like is that I'm still going to be doing things authentically that are mine. Like, I feel like I try really hard to investigate anything that I choose to do, whether it's a hotel or a destination. I just got pitched for a trip, and I'm just not sure the company and I are a match. So I don't write about things that I feel those kind of spider sense vibes about. Like, I really pay attention to what I pick. And I think over the next 5 years, I'll only get better at that and saying, this is really what fits me. I've been very, very fortunate. I have an amazing editor at Ms. Magazine, and today is my 6th story, I think. And I have 4 stories coming up. So I've been very fortunate to be able to tell stories that, I really care about. And I have a print story about this incredible women's economic development project in Africa. I wrote about Jessica Abo's book, Unfiltered. And this is very relevant because she talks about social media is not the enemy, loneliness is the enemy. And I think we blame social media for a lot of things. And social media just is there. It depends what you do with it.
You have a lot of stuff going on. Like, where should we find you in the future? I think not in the future. Like, where can people find more about you online?
Okay. So if you're looking to find more about me, everywhere We Said Go Travel. My YouTube account, I'm almost to 900,000 views, so I'm super excited. I think this year I should hit 1 million views. So exciting. I still remember when I got it to 1,000 views, and I was so excited. So 1 million seems like a lot more to be excited about than 1,000, but still. And I've been doing some television segments for KTLA in Los Angeles. And those you can always find on We Said Go Travel as well. I'm actually doing one for President's Day. People could win a 2-night stay at the Kimpton Lapeer Hotel, dinner for 2, and you get all glammed up with your hair and makeup by Glam Squad. And then on February 23rd, that's the giveaway for February 23rd and 24th. That's the Oscars giveaway. February 18th is President's Day, and we're doing a giveaway for Philadelphia because that's where our country started, with the founding fathers.
Want to join Intelfluence as an influencer for free? It's easy. Visit Intelfluence.com, click on the influencers link, and then click on the Join for Free button to sign up. Once you have registered, you will get immediate access to our influencer marketplace where you can browse relevant offers from brands and apply on the spot. You'll also be eligible to receive attractive product and service pitches from brands. There's absolutely no cost to join as an influencer, so we hope you take advantage of our service. Also, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and, well, you know the drill. Until our next episode, keep being awesome.